Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Room Temperature IQ podcast. Today, we have a special guest, and his name is Mikkel.
Good evening.
And of course, as always, we have our trustworthy co-hosts, Pedro.
Good day.
Distinguished guest.
Distinguished guest. Rahul, who is co-host.
What is up?
And Stas.
What's up?
And I think we have all agreed that today's episode we shall be discussing TV shows. Ones that we like, maybe some that we don't like, and we'll just see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to start talking about any special TV shows, especially Mikkel, since you're the guest? Do you have any TV shows that you feel everybody should watch, or any that you recommend?
Well, in particular, I've been watching quite a bit of anime as we are in quarantine. I've been trying to catch up. One that I found extremely interesting is called Demon Slayer. This is a new anime. I know Stas knows this. I forgot which year it came out. Was it 2020 or 2019?
I believe it was ongoing near the end of 2019.
I see. So it was voted best anime of the year, and in my opinion, it is one of the better animes I've watched throughout the quarantine. And based on the anime, I also started reading the manga because I was so into the story.
Yeah, unfortunately, manga ended though. For some reason, the author of the story decided not to stretch out the story. It's been only ongoing for 4 years, so there's only around 200 chapters. It does sound like a lot, but in reality, it's not that much. It's only 2 extra stories that were not covered in the original anime that are left to be covered. 2 to 3. One is pretty short, so I'd say 2 stories basically.
Yeah.
Even though it's short, it still doesn't take away from the quality of it. I really like the manga and the anime. I can't wait for the next anime to come out next season, or the movie. I heard they're making a movie about the next arc, right, Mikkel?
Yeah. I think it's only going to be exclusive to Japan, so if I really want to see it, I should go to Japan.
Or, get a VPN.
Exactly.
That's also pretty easy. Okay, but as a person who has watched very, very little anime, do you want to give maybe a brief description of what the show is about?
Sure. The show takes place in the beginning of 20th century Japan, as far as I remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's before World War I or during World War I. Something around that period.
Around that time, yeah.
Something around that time. And it takes the perspective of a character called Tanger Commando. He's a normal guy who lives with his very big family on top of a mountain near a village, and he mines coal and sells it off to the village. A pretty simple life for a simple guy. However, one day when he came down to the village, it was really late, so he stayed over at some other person's house because it was too late to go up. And when he came back overnight, something terrible happened to his family. The entirety of the family was slaughtered. However, it wasn't just a normal slaughter. It wasn't done by a human being. It was done by a demon. And next to the bodies of his dead family, he saw some creature growling. However, it turned out to be his own sister attacking him, which was quite dramatic for the guy, let's just say. He tried to avoid she tried to run away from his sister and tried to run away from her. However, during that bout between him and the demon, a person wielding a katana appeared, a really weird person who claimed to be a demon hunter. And this demon hunter attempted to kill his sister. However, Tanger Commando, being a simple guy, believed that even if she turned into a demon, she still is his sister, and he's going to protect her and find a cure from being a demon. He's going to turn her back into a human being. the demon hunter trusts him and allows him to train to become a demon hunter, and that's how the story begins. Tanger Commando becomes a demon hunter, and the story goes over his adventures of slaying demons and trying to find a cure for his sister.
That sounds very interesting and very time-consuming.
Time-consuming.
Yeah, I must say.
25 episodes, 20 minutes long.
Only 20. Okay, well, it's not that bad then. You could probably binge watch it in a day.
The anime doesn't cover the entirety of the story, as I told you. There's more chapters of manga that was not economized.
Oh yeah, true.
So it doesn't finish the story of Tanger Commando, and it's quite beautifully animated, very well directed, and the story is also really interesting. So it was a really popular anime back then.
But that sounds rather interesting.
Yep. Okay, anybody else have any other shows that they watched recently and would like to share? Silence. Do you guys watch TV? Any TV shows?
I know, Rahul, you said you've watched a lot of anime as well.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I do watch anime. It's just I watch really obscure anime. Like, you guys probably haven't heard of these ones because they're really old. But there's a football anime that I've rewatched, actually. I already know it by heart. I pretty much know the whole anime.
Oh my god, is it Oliver and Benji?
No, it's Inazuma 11. It's
what a
such
loser,
yes.
Bro, that anime is so good. Oh my god.
It's amazing.
Oliver and Benji.
Bro, it's the first. I watched the original one. I mean, there's obviously like Go and Chronostone, but those are just bad. Like, I hate Chronostone so much.
I remember watching it as a kid together with like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Bakugan.
Bro,
Those were the things that I used to watch.
Bro, that was the original sports anime, and it will forever be the best sports anime that I've ever watched, and I guess I ever will watch, because obviously there's like Haikyuu and like the basketball anime, but like those look just so weird. Like, they look so out of sync.
I've also
watched
seen
basketball
Haikyuu
anime.
Bro, but like the thing is, as much as people think that anime is kind of weird and stuff, it's just the reason why they think it's weird is it's just sometimes it can be so far-fetched. Like the football anime that I watch, bro, it's literally just kids shooting
laser beams, basically.
Yeah, it's like they like transform the ball into a fireball, like a comet or like a planet, and they just send it to the goalkeeper. Like, what?
Jesus Christ.
I understand, like, it's cool and all, but like it's kind of far-fetched. I understand how people might think that it's weird, or like they might, back off. And since anime, most anime at least, is not really a reflection of reality, it's just there. I mean, like, obviously Japanese culture tends itself towards fantasy because Japan only has one natural resource, and that is humans. And the lake, because Japan is not really geographically rich in terms of nutrients and minerals. So because of that, they should rely heavily on the human population to kind of come up with new ideas and innovation, so that they can market themselves as a good MEDC in the world. And obviously, anime has come to be one of the things Japan is renowned for, and it's almost synonymous to, because I mean, obviously there's Chinese anime.
Oh no, come on, don't make it say that like that Japan is just associated for anime.
Sushi is also pretty good, it's pretty tasty.
I'm pretty sure a Japanese person would be really mad if they heard that.
No, I didn't. I'm not saying that anime. I'm not saying that Japan is equal to anime. I'm not saying that. Oh, bro, by the way, Toyota Prius, bro, I love that.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you obviously don't know cars. So. It's fine, whatever. It's besides the point.
Bro, you know what my favorite car is? My favorite car is the Supra, bro.
All right, but then I'm gonna ask you which mark, but you won't know.
Mark II.
So, yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, to be fair, the Mark II is a good car, but
yeah, I like it.
Anyways, we're getting a bit off track.
It's like a Ferrari,
Yeah, sure.
Rahul talked about Chinese anime, and that reminded me of one TV show that's on Netflix right now that I found quite entertaining. It's called Caesar 7, and it's so far-fetched from reality, okay? The protagonist is a guy who can use his inner ki energy to control Caesars. Okay, he can chi energy, and he could control Caesars by doing that. And he pretends to be an assassin using scissors. Okay.
Why would you not want to be an assassin?
But the cool part about the story is that, not the story, and the entire show is the quality of animation. There's so many fight scenes, and they're so well animated. I loved it so much. I think that's if you just like to watch some animated action, that would be a great show to watch. It also has some funny moments because it tries to be also comedic majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people watch anime just for the art because it's very, very well done, and obviously, they spend a lot of time making it. I can imagine it takes an incredible amount of time to, not only come up with the idea but also draw it out and put it all together into one big either movie or TV series. But yeah, I must say I do respect the art and the time that is put into these TV shows, even though I don't really watch them.
Yep. A lot of money.
Oh yeah, a lot of money must go in as well. Do you have any other shows, Mikkel, that you have watched? Maybe not recently, but that just overall have left you in awe of what people can do or what creativity can lead you?
Yeah, this is another anime show that I watched, I think, before quarantine and during, because it was kind of long. Mm-hmm. But Attack on Titan was recommended to me, and it's a super popular anime. Mm-hmm. And I started watching it, and I found the beginning of it to be kind of strange. I remember I started it once, and I didn't really like it because there was something about the art style and the plot that didn't really catch my attention. So I left it there for a while, and I kind of picked it back up, and I kind of forcefully watched through half of the first season, and then I found it to be really amazing as the story progresses, and yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan is one of those shows that started really strong, and then instead of just staying true to the original concept, they kept on expanding their ideas and world building to much bigger extent, and that is why many people love the show, because it never gets old. They always show something new for you to see.
Mm-hmm. I remember, sorry, keep going.
No, it's fine, keep on going.
No, I was going to talk about the art style again of Attack on Titan, because I remember the first time I saw it, it was probably in 7th or 8th grade. There was a person in my class that watched it a lot, and they had like a computer case that was based on Attack on Titan. It was very, very cool. I had no idea what anime was at the time. I think he was South Korean. That doesn't justify anything, but and he showed me it, and he like tried to explain what it was, even though I wasn't ignorant. I just was so clueless I didn't know. But it reminded me of Terminator for some reason, and that's every single time I think of Attack on Titan now, I relate it to Terminator. But I must say I was very impressed with with how it looked.
Well, technically, Attack on Titan can be really violent. Terminator is also really violent, so.
Yeah, it's a bunch of like, from what I've seen, I think it's the Titans. They're just like skinless like people. It looks kind of weird.
They're kind of freaky. It's what drew me away from the show.
But you watched it in the end, and you seem to enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sometimes you gotta face your fears.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe enough of anime. Maybe some shows. Maybe some live action that people want to talk about.
Do you have any interesting shows that you've watched, Pedro?
Did you say Pedro?
Yes, I did.
Should we address you, distinguished guest, from now on?
Well, if anybody, if you are asking like shows that I think everybody should watch, like I have a whole list of them.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry
Go
about it. So you can start with things like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, Witcher.
No.
Yeah, Witcher's good.
Not Game of Thrones.
Like any like, oh, Spartacus was a really good one as well.
Breaking
I
Bad.
really like
Come
that.
on, come on, say Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Bad is like okay.
Okay,
like-
you said Breaking Bad is okay.
Okay, Stas, I know
Come
you're
on.
gonna dislike me for this, but I watched a few episodes of Breaking Bad, and I'm sorry, but I was very bored. Like maybe this is an
Honestly, I don't have
unpopular
the
opinion.
stomach. Yeah, I don't have the stomach for the long dialogues.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was. I
come
was kind of
on.
bored, to be honest. Like
That's-
no, the thing is, it was
come on.
overhyped. It was overhyped for me as well. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's so good, it's amazing, whatever." And
No,
then
it
I
is,
started
it
watching
is
it.
good. It is good. It's
Yeah,
just
no, I'm not
for me.
saying it's not good. I'm just saying I got
The
pretty bored. and-
stories. Okay, maybe it's
But
not
I
for
do.
everyone.
I must say I like the idea, and I do see why people like it.
For me, the story grew so much on me, and the acting and the general style that it was so much different from all the other TV shows that I've seen,
Mhm.
and that's why Breaking Bad was really amazing for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for example, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so of course I can't really blame
Same.
other people for like saying that they didn't watch Breaking Bad or didn't like it or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched. I'm not a TV show person, to be honest. But yeah, okay, keep going, Pedro.
So then you move on to the sitcoms, right? And you
Okay.
got things like Friends, How I Met Your
Ah.
Mother.
Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't really watched.
How else? The Big Bang Theory.
Hmm.
Trailer Park Boys, obviously,
Of course.
for the trailer park lifestyle and hijinks
Mm.
that we all know
Yeah.
and love.
I don't
And then
remember
you
how the
move
show
into animated
goes.
TV shows, and
Oh,
then you
animated.
have Family Guy and Star Wars: The
Best
Clone
show, yeah.
Wars,
Oh, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. bro.
Simpsons, any animated Archer,
Archer,
any
yes.
animated comedy TV show honestly should be watched, in my opinion.
Phineas and Ferb.
Except for Big Mouth.
Yes.
Except
Phineas
for
and
Big
Ferb.
Mouth.
Every summer holiday I watch that.
Phineas and
Amazing.
Ferb is also a good one, of course.
You watch
There's
Big Mouth?
104
Bruh.
days of summer vacation. Yeah, I think everyone knows that intro song, to be honest.
Yeah.
Of
But
course.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
what's up-
one
what's
of
up-
the
Nobody's
what's
gonna
most
be mad that we're
elite-
talking about Phineas and Ferb without him.
No, but honestly, Phineas and Ferb is probably the most elite TV show out there. Like even from a young age, people know about it.
It's got to be Danny Phantom, bro.
Yeah, Danny Phantom.
Oh, that was good.
Bro,
And
Danny
also,
Phantom,
of course,
Fairly Odd
Star
Parents,
Wars: The
bro.
Clone Wars. For me, Star Wars: The
Nah,
Clone
Fairly Odd
Wars was
Parents, bro.
definition of my childhood.
Fairly
to be
Odd
honest.
Parents.
Oh, Fairly Odd Parents, yes.
bro, the
I
Holy
mean-
Trinity. The Holy Trinity.
Probably the TV show that I've personally watched the most is Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy.
It's just it's such
Oh,
an easy show
if
to watch.
you're
It's
talking
very
about
easy
like
to watch.
older shows, Avatar. Come on, the first Avatar is.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Bro.
I watched that.
The
haven't
Last
all the way through.
Airbender.
Yeah, Avatar: The
Mm.
Last Airbender.
A lot of people have told me I should watch Avatar, but I haven't.
Wait, are you referring to the movie, The Last Airbender?
Oh no, not the movie, not the movie.
The TV
Please,
show.
God no.
The movie
God
was.
knows.
I didn't really like that.
The movie Avatar with the blue people. The
Yes.
people that climbed in the trees.
James Cameron.
Oh my God,
It was
can't
the
wait
movie that
for
made the
Avatar
most
2,
money, like,
bro.
what the hell? Oh no, not anymore. But
Avatar 2.
oh yes, it'll probably flop. Honestly, if they made one, it'll probably flop. But yeah, we're talking about TV shows, not movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about TV shows that I really enjoyed, or that
Mhm.
we enjoyed, actually, Star Wars: The Mandalorian. That was such a great show. I don't know if you guys have watched that.
That's true.
It's just a sci-fi western, and it's so well
I can't
executed.
wait for the next
I love it.
season.
Oh, have you
Bro,
heard,
that's
Petro?
cool, man, but
There are
like-
rumors that Ahsoka from the Clone Wars might appear
Yeah.
in there, and Captain Rex as well, which is quite
know.
interesting.
I'm
Bro, that's cool and all, but have you guys seen Hannibal?
Hannibal.
No.
No.
Bro, you're missing out on true literature, bro. Literature in motion, bro. Hannibal is such a well executed show.
I don't know what it is. I'll be honest.
Bro,
Do
do
you
you
want
know?
to give a brief
Okay,
description?
do you know Hannibal Lecter?
No,
I
sadly
didn't know there
not.
was a TV show
Okay,
about him.
so basically, this guy, Hannibal Lecter, right? He's a forensic psychiatrist, So he looks at so basically he's half police officer, half clinical psychiatrist. But what people don't understand is every time this guy like goes to like a crime show or something, or like crime scene and stuff, like the people disappear, like the people involved in crimes disappear, and that's because he actually eats them.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then we can.
That was unexpected.
There's like a bunch of montages where he's like cooking people's legs, with the bone.
So he eats with the bone.
So that's what you
he
like
eats with
to
the bone.
see.
Yeah, he eats with the bone. He broils it with the bone. He covers it in foil, then he puts it in the oven. Lets it cook on the inside.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to watch it, because
is this?
He cuts along the grain. He cuts along the grain. He's a man of culture. And then he has a nice chardonnay on the side, and he drinks.
Is this an anime or?
No, it's a live action TV series.
Jesus Christ!
And it's by Mads Mikkelsen, bro. Like that guy's such a good actor.
Yeah, it's this Danish actor I was about to say.
Bro, he's
so good.
Yeah, he also appeared in Death Stranding.
Wait, what's it called?
It's just
He's
called
I think he's one of the main antagonists of Doctor Strange in the movie. He's one of those.
Yeah, he's
three guys.
Caecilius.
Yeah.
It's called Hannibal. It's 2013, 2014. I don't know, it's pretty old, but damn, that is good. That is.
Is it a play on cannibal? On the word cannibal?
Yeah, it's cannibal. It's cannibal, but the C is the H, and there's no G.
Yeah.
I always get Hannibal and Hamilton mixed up, even though they're completely different.
That's hilarious.
Oh, do you guys know a TV series called House MD or House Medical Department?
Oh yes, House MD. Oh my god, that's such a good show, bro. Oh my god.
I was binging it. I binged it multiple times with my family, okay?
Bro, he's such a snob, but that's what makes him good, bro. He's such a snob, bro.
The TV series begins with the introduction of a character called House. That's his last name. And he owns a medical department. Wow, who would have guessed? That's in the name. However, this medical department is special because the cases that are sent to this medical department are the ones where the doctors just gave up. They don't know what the disease is, and they don't know how to treat it, right? Yeah. So they're sent to this medical department that House owns, and House and his team of other doctors, which are exceptionally good, have to solve the mystery of what sort of disease do they have. It's a very interesting spin on detective series, right? But that's only the first couple of seasons. They focus on the actual disease. Of course, I'm not saying that in the next seasons the disease has become less interesting. However, the more you go into the story of House MD, the more it becomes focused on the relationships that House develops with his comrades and the other people that he encounters throughout the story, and the entire story turns into a very amazing series.
Yeah, it's like a glorified reality TV series, but it's good in the fact that it explores like the medical department. It's kind of like, you guys know Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes movies, right?
Yeah.
No, not really.
You don't, bro.
Okay, so in my opinion,
I'm very uncultured when it comes to.
In my opinion, that is the best what do you call it? Best rendition of Sherlock Holmes in the modern world. That's, in my opinion, I think that's the best Sherlock Holmes you can watch in the modern day.
Are you talking about the BBC Sherlock Holmes?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
I mean, obviously, the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes is exceptional. That was mind blowing as well. But like, if you give Robert Downey Jr. enough time to come up with more movies, actually, there's a third one coming out in 2022.
Yeah, there's a third one coming out.
I think that can easily match, if not go beyond, Benedict Cumberbatch's BBC Sherlock Holmes. I think that those two are phenomenal. The acting is crazy. The plots are just outlandish. You won't expect anything, and it's like House MD is similar in that fact that it's just so complex, yet it's easy for people to understand. Like the plot is so intricate.
It covers so many themes, like friendship. Love, the relationships between characters are complicated, and it's really interesting to follow them. And this is why I'm saying that only the first season really focus on the person who's been sent to the medical department and they're trying to solve the mystery. The mystery is always there, but it is usually the more you go into the series, the more this mystery is followed by the actual relationships that House MD that House actually develops himself. He is also a complicated character himself. I believe it wouldn't be a spoiler to say that he is a cripple who has a problem with his leg. It always hurts, so he has to take medicine to stop it from hurting. And the story does not forget about that fact, and it does delve deeper into the problem.
Yeah, it's actually a motif. It comes up frequently in his in the show, and it tells us what drives him in his career. Also, another show that is exceptionally well played out and
Rahul, before you say another show, I wanted to mention some show that many people don't know exists. We talked about the BBC's version of Modern Sherlock Holmes, but there's one more version of Modern Sherlock Holmes in TV series format that many people do not know of or do not pay attention to, and it's called Elementary. The TV series is called Elementary. In this rendition of Sherlock Holmes in modern world, Sherlock Holmes lives in New York.
Oh.
And he has to solve mysteries there. He is just as genius as any other version of Sherlock Holmes. Of course, he solves all the mysteries. But this time, his partner, Dr. Watson, is a woman, and some of the things that we know of Sherlock Holmes are flipped and turned, and the character is explored a bit differently than it usually is, and that is what is interesting as well.
So that's funny if you do say Sherlock Holmes, because the show that I'm about to say, it's called The Mentalist.
Oh my god, The Mentalist is the one where it's also a detective, but the guy knows. The guy uses psychology to figure out if somebody's lying to him, right? Is this the one?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one. That is also a well put together show.
Yeah.
I think. But what about the rest of the boys? What do we feel?
What about The Mentalist?
Well, not just what do we feel about the TV, with the catalog of shows that we've just...
The TV show industry.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I've given my point on it. You know, I don't really watch that many of them. For some reason, I'm unable to... I don't know if the word commit is right, but I'm unable to sit myself down and... commit to a TV show.
But I heard you did watch some TV series. I think I talked to you about some TV series like Altered Carbon or something.
Yeah, that is a very good show that I did end up watching thanks to Stas. He was the one that recommended it to me in a very early episode of this podcast, actually. And so I took his advice and I watched, I think, maybe 5 episodes. And this is not me discouraging it. It's honestly an amazing show. Anybody that's interested
you didn't finish it.
Yeah, and any form of sci-fi and any form of futuristic shows, it's a very good show. It's about a guy that's solving a murder, not a murder. Or I mean, I guess you could say a murder. It's been a while since I watched it, but it's just very, very good. It's very well played out. The scenery is amazing. And yeah, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about the show, to be honest. There's a lot of cliffhangers, as shows have, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, but sadly...
It's a really good cyberpunk show.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for some reason, I just could not continue watching it. I don't know what it is. And yeah, I ended up stopping at the 5th episode. I've thought about picking it up again, but it's just... I just feel like, I can't be bothered, you know? But it's definitely a very, very good show.
Pedro, I know you watched it. Can you please tell my guy Noah over here
it is a
to
pretty
watch
good
it?
show. You should watch it all.
Yeah, I might just have to continue watching it after this episode. But yeah,
you probably should rewatch the previous episodes then to remember where you left off.
I mean, I kind of remember.
That's fine. Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm not going to say anything because it would be spoilers. But yeah, I guess I could rewatch again. But then it's like I'd get stuck at episode 5 again and whatever. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, the quarantine is long anyway, so although it might be ending soon. But...
It's ending in 1 week
Yeah.
for us.
Alright, it's time for me to binge.
It's not ending. We're just gonna be quarantined at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, apart from that, I know another show that I have watched is the Grand Tour. I actually did watch the first season, and that was because I was doing it with my dad, so I had someone to remind me to watch it. And that was honestly a very, very funny, very good. As a person who loves cars, it was very entertaining. And they just have, like, their way of creating a show is very different from a lot of other people, and their ideas are very good. So yeah, I recommend that show as well if you do like cars. But I mean, it's ended now, and the end was very sad and emotional. But yeah,
The only show I watched about cars is Top Gear. I think it's not.
I
Would
feel
it
like
really
everyone-
count as a TV show? It is a TV show, right? But it's not
Mhm.
a story-driven TV show. It's more like a showcase of cars and cool concepts within cars.
Well,
That sort of.
it's not only that. Nowadays, yes, now it's more that. But they had things like challenges where they would have a budget amount of money, and they would have to go out in a rather poor country and buy a car and try to traverse very harsh lands.
Was
and
it
then they would
Top
have
Gear
challenges.
that bought a three-wheeled car and tried to make a spaceship out of it or something like that?
Spaceship. I don't know.
Yeah,
about
I
that.
don't remember. It was something stupid. I watched it when I was a kid. Like somebody on TV bought some small three-wheeled car and they tried to like make it fly or something like that.
I know that there is. So the three-wheeled car you might be talking about is a Peel P50. It's the smallest production car ever made. It's a three-wheeled car powered by a moped engine, and it's. I think it's under moped license as well because it's not four wheels.
Oh my
It
god!
doesn't
I
have
saw
four
this. I saw this car in Monaco. In Monaco, there's a museum of all the
Mhm.
cars that the royal family owns, and
Of
there's
course,
one
of
of
course
them
they have
actually
that.
is there.
That's funny though. That's very funny. No, it's a very very bare
It's this
bones
car that like the door is actually also the front window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
think
a
we had
very
a
it's a
German
very funny
test
car.
about this last year, about this car.
Really?
Yeah.
Really nice.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was fabricated in England in someone's garage, and then they're like, "Oh, let's make this into an idea for some reason." And I know that Top Gear reviewed it, and the first thing Jeremy Clarkson did when driving this car is he rolled it. He rolled it over and landed on the roof.
Hey, if you like shows about cars, you should watch comedians in cars getting coffee.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
It's just a
there's,
bunch of
Comedians
it's
in
with
cars.
Jerry
basically.
Seinfeld, and it's just a bunch of random celebrities. Obama shows up in it.
Yeah, but I mean, usually with that, they just talk about like expensive cars and whatever, like, or they just talk about iconic cars. But like, I personally like people that work on cars that like does modifications because that's like what I'm interested in, and like challenge themselves to build something and then challenge what they've built and see if it holds up. Because I mean, you don't think about it, but the cars we have, they're extremely robust. Like they can withstand a lot of beatings. Especially like Japanese cars are known for being built just like absolutely just incredibly well, I guess. And then seeing that like very old cars being reused and like recycled, and just seeing how some cars are literally unkillable, like the Toyota Hilux, the pickup truck that is known for literally Top Gear. They put it in the ocean for overnight. It still started up. Like they stuck it underwater. They dropped it from in an exploding building, and they put it in they put it literally through hell and back, and it still started up in the end. And that's like I like those that they challenge the automotive world, and that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going or trying to achieve the limit is always really cool.
Yeah. That's pushing things to the limit is pretty. Like if you're watching it, it's pretty cool. When you're actually doing it, then it's
when you're actually doing it, it's a hassle. It's just a hassle.
Yeah, no, but there are definitely some like we've covered today, there are definitely some very good TV shows out there that a lot of people should watch. And I mean, there's TV shows for literally everyone, from cars to anime to people that eat other people, the Hannibal.
Well, that's not what the show really is about, but
no, but I mean, I'm just from the name of the okay. I'm not going to advertise it as a cannibal show. It does sound very interesting, I must say. But do you have any?
Those are all the shows that like already came out. But do you guys want to talk about some show you're anticipating? Maybe that's.
Or, actually, I have a good idea, Mikkel. If you were to create a show, how would you do? Like, what would it be? An anime? Would it be like what was the word? Like real life version?
Some live action.
Yeah, live action. Sorry, that's what I meant.
That's a good question.
Like,
I think it would be a live action, futuristic detective movie that is located on a different
movie or
planet.
TV show.
A TV show, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe sneak in a movie or two in there, but.
Make it a franchise. Sell the toys.
Yeah, franchise.
Have a international fandom.
Exactly.
If I were to make a TV series, oh my god. I have two ideas. One would have been a pretty generic cyberpunk idea, which would revolve around a protagonist being all kind and stuff, and being like a very kind and gentle person. However, the cyberpunk world would basically corrupt him, and it would be like a deconstruction of his character. Like, the farther you go, similar to Breaking Bad, the less likable the character becomes, and the more of an antagonist he becomes. And another idea I got recently, literally yesterday, when I talked to Pedro, and it's an idea about making TV series based on the life story of Ivan the Terrible. It's the Tsar of Russia, who is quite a questionable historic figure, and his life story is also a really interesting one. I cannot talk about his entire life story, but let's just say there is a reason why he is known internationally as Ivan the Terrible throughout the country. And he was the last Tsar of Yurikoviches. That's the royal family. He was the last person to be from that royal family. And after him, the family died out. And it is really interesting to see how it happened, how it came to be like that. And the end of the story would have also been really tragic, because the way Ivan the Terrible died is by him playing chess, and by him living as an unsuccessful person. Because for every single part of success that he has achieved while ruling the country, he has done something equivalently bad, or maybe even worse. So he definitely was a broken person near the end of his life. And
wait, so like every good thing he did, there was an equal bad thing? Is that what you mean?
I'd even say maybe even more terrible thing than the good thing. Because, for example, during his reign, he was the reason why Russia owns Siberia right now. Like, so basically he was like a big expander of Russian land. But at the same time, he himself killed his own child, who was supposed to be an heir to the Russian throne. And because of that, he has destroyed his own Yurikovich's noble family. There was nobody to succeed the throne after his death. And and also he killed his own son, whom he groomed and loved. So,
was there like any reason? Maybe he like mentally ill, or is just
he was mentally ill, and in a fit of rage, he killed his own child.
He must have been very upset about something. Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was a very tragic figure if you really think about it. But at the same time, he was a highly oppressive figure. So it would be a really interesting TV series to watch, revolving around his life story.
That's actually a very well thought out idea, I must say. Or maybe you've read that.
Well, I
somewhere,
mean,
but-
it's not a well thought out idea. It's just something that happened in history, and it would have been really cool to see as an actual TV show, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I definitely agree. That would be very interesting. Does anyone else have any show ideas they think of, any show concepts? I'm kind of aiming this towards Pedro and Rahul, since you guys haven't
Thank
spoken
you.
in a while.
Yes, I do. I've always wanted to. I have a bunch of TV show ideas.
Well, just say them.
First of all, I've always wanted to make a TV show about the Romans, right? So in any TV show about Romans, I'm gonna option right here, right now. Just
Alright.
because movies and documentaries aren't enough. Okay, Spartacus was like a quasi masterpiece,
About
like the HBO TV series.
would
and
you
there
make
should be
your
more.
own original story, or would you try to base it off historical events?
No, of course not. I'd try to base it off historical facts.
And like which emperor, or like what part of history of Rome would you like to?
Probably late Roman Empire, because there isn't a lot of things there. I've always wanted to make like a thing during Diocletian's tetrarchy and how he got to power and shit.
You mean when Rome was technically divided into 4 parts before being divided into 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know much about that period of time, but sounds really cool.
Also, I've had I wanted to make TV shows on like almost like every single time period in history. That's another thing.
Like what do you mean? Like almost every single, like brief highlights, like people going through time and
No, hell no.
Or like each episode is dedicated to one.
Oh my god!
No, I mean,
if I understood you correctly, that would be such a grand idea to make a TV series about every single historical event that took place throughout history.
That would be like monumentous.
That would be a
like
monumentally.
I would remove the use of history class, though.
You guys know Blackadder? Old British TV show that everybody knows and loves.
Blackadder is the comedy show about World War One in trenches, right?
No, it's not about World War One. Each season is about a different time period in history in which a Blackadder family member was alive.
Oh, okay. Then I'm wrong. Sorry.
And
I was thinking of
I
something
don't know.
else.
And see, something like that would be something probably.
Oh, so you want to watch? So basically, what you want to say is like, go through record a TV series about the life of every single person from some family tree, and like
just come up with the family tree.
Yeah, that like witnesses and like different ancestors of that family tree witness different events. Like maybe you could like stretch it at like.
And you always get the same actor to play the guy, because you can just say that they all look alike.
That would be an easy way to save money. Yeah, that would be pretty epic.
Yeah, that's what they did in Blackadder. I mean, nobody blinked to that, Nobody batted an eye.
When did Blackadder come out?
It's old. Blackadder is old.
Yeah, I think nowadays people would be really concerned with it.
It's Mr. Bean's in it, actually. He's the main character.
I mean, Rowan Atkinson.
Thank you. I always forget his first name.
Not Mr. Bean. That is just such a.
I'm sorry. I always forget his first name.
I mean, I understand he's.
I don't want to say Atkinson and then be like So I'm just going to say Mr. Bean, because everybody knows and loves Mr. Bean.
That is true. Mr. Bean is.
It's like being afraid to say that one actor who played Sherlock Holmes in BBC TV series. I always mess up how to pronounce his name, and there are so many memes about people mispronouncing it. I remember my favorite way to mispronounce his name is Benedict Cucumberbatch.
Benedict.
Benedict Cumberbatch, right? That's what his real name is, right?
Wait, have you guys watched Between Two Ferns?
Of course.
I do.
With Zach Galifianakis, if that's how you say his last name. Yeah, whatever his last name is. He was very funny when he interviewed Benedict. I don't even know Cumberbatch. I don't know how to say.
Cumberbatch, Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
It's not even that hard.
I know,
Yeah.
no, he purposely made it like sound funny, but he credit to him for being.
Cumberbatch, isn't it, Rahul? Back
What?
me up. It's Cumberbatch, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Cumberbatch.
See, finally,
Yeah,
someone who speaks English.
it's not hard. It's an E. Everybody
It's
knows.
not Cucumberbatch. It's not. I don't know.
Cucumber.
Cucumba batch. None of that.
Ooga
but
booga
it-
batch.
Cumberbatch. Cucumber
All right.
patch. That would make more sense. It's a patch of cucumbers, you know.
Cucumba.
I'm just growing them here. You know how people in Middle Ages they're supposedly named after their jobs? That was his job.
Oh no! Oh no!
He was just like,
Oh Lord!
Yeah, my last name is definitely not based off the profession that my ancestors had.
what does your last name mean, bro?
So my last name. Okay, my parents even bought like a special research into my last name to find out like how it sounds. How it sounds. It sounds.
Ancestry.com.
It sounds like Drajilkin, right? And the Russians, like modern Russian person, would think that it comes from a verb дрожать, which means to shake. So people would like in first grade, it would be the best way to bully me, like say, "Haha, you're so scared, you shake all the time. That your last name says so." In reality, what my last name is supposed to mean, it used to be a very gentle way to call a child, Drajilka, because children would be small, right? And like small children, and they would be like, called
And they'd shake.
because we're talking about Russia here, and they would shake, yeah. So they would call them Drajilka, and that is supposed to be a very gentle way to call a child, like a very kind way. So somehow, some of my ancestors got that like pronoun stuck with them. So yeah, now my last name is that. Well, enough of my last name history though. Pedro, did you have any more ideas, or did you listen
For what, TV shows?
for TV shows? Yeah.
I mean, most of my ideas are for movies, not TV shows. So when we talk about movies, we can talk about my ideas.
No, I
Foreshadowing,
mean,
are you?
we who knows?
Yeah,
Guess-
I'm not in charge here. I'm not. call my
Guess what's our
supervisor.
next episode going to be? The Bro Code Part 2 or movies?
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I think that we will wrap this episode up, as we have been going now for almost 50 minutes, actually. Which is, I mean, honestly, that's a good
Pretty
achievement.
epic.
Oh, it's bedtime.
Pretty epic, I must
Yeah,
say.
bedtime. Time to go to bed, guys.
Well, yeah, time to go to sleep.
It's not daybreak anymore. It's about to be night mode, guys. Come on.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, I think the next episode will be a night mode one. But yeah, well, thank you very much, Mikkel, for joining us in this
Thank you for having
episode
me.
where we talk about TV shows. Your contributions were much appreciated.
Oh yeah, Mikkel, great having you here, buddy.
Yeah, we'll have you. We'll probably have you back. Honestly, sometimes we need guests. So
Not gonna lie, it was pretty epic.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Rahul, and thank you, Stas. See you next time. Goodbye.